Hangout. Today we're gonna have an awesome hangout. This is the second hangout we're gonna have with my boys from the UK. We got Mr. Karen. Say hello, Karen, to the camera.
Hey, bro. Hey, everybody. I'm here, man.
Let's make it happen, right? And then on the other side, we got my man, Mr. Carlos. It seems like we're like in a boxing match, right? In one corner we have Carlos. In another corner we have Karen. Yeah, guys,
man,
but you know what? It's just we love to have fun. But yeah, we have Mr. Carlos here. He has an I Love Marketing shirt on, right?
Nah, this is some old stuff, you know what I mean?
I just saw I and then a heart. I was like, oh, it's probably gonna say marketing at the bottom, right?
I
Like,
love
I'm entrepreneur or something.
I don't even know what I said.
But yeah, guys. So, and then on this side of the camera, of course, you got me. Sorry, guys, today I'm a little bit sick. I just woke up a little while ago. I got the cold, I got the flu, so I got my little hot drink right here. I'll be sipping on that as we have our hangout. Yeah, man. But see, I don't have to call into work. I don't have to be like, hey, boss, I'm calling into work. I'm gonna use my sick time, right? Because even if we're sick, we just always like to say that we're real, right? Today, this day, November 18th, 2015, Jose Garcia was a little sick, but he still jumped on the hangout, right? So that's the beauty of having our own business. That's the beauty of being able to work online and just give value, right? Because the value's still in there. We still have that value, regardless if we're sick, regardless if we're at a party, which we don't really party, but regardless if we're masterminding whatever we do, right? Knowledge is still in there. Okay, guys. So let's go ahead and get started. Today, last hangout we talked about chapter 1 and chapter 2, which was an awesome hangout. And like I told you guys, today we have Mr. Carlos, which is awesome. He was able to jump on today. And today we're going to discuss the chapter on faith, okay, which is going to be chapter number 3, número 3 for my Spanish-speaking people. All right. So this one's going to be on faith, right? And the first thing that I wanted to bring up to you guys is this little quote. Oh, sorry. It's going to be repetition of affirmation of orders to your subconscious mind is the only known method of voluntarily development of the emotion of faith. Okay? So it's just like, man, like this chapter for me, I think I have to a little bit of buggers. This chapter, I think, is just like, it's really deep. There's really deep stuff, right? And this one, what it really wants to teach us is how to develop faith. So by repeating affirmations every day, whenever we can, you're going to be able to see that you're going to develop faith, okay? And of course, guys, you're not going to develop, or you have to be careful of what you repeat to yourself. If you repeat to yourself, oh, I am dumb. Oh, I'm not lucky. Oh, I'm lazy. Oh, whatever you're repeating to yourself, that's what's going to happen, okay? But if you tell yourself, oh, I'm inspirational, I'm powerful, I'm encouraging, I am, whatever your I am is, that's the type of person you're going to become, okay? So I want to go ahead and pass down the mic to Mr. Carlos here. Give us some golden nuggets, man, about the power of affirmations. I know you have great affirmations. Maybe you could even share with us a couple of yours, and we'll go ahead and jot them down and use them for our own reference.
Yeah, obviously, that's what the chapter of faith's about, really, in Think and Grow Rich. It's basically about kind of, people say that you need to have faith to get things done, and obviously you do need to have faith to get things done, but how do you make faith in it? And that's obviously what the whole chapter's about, really. And he's basically saying you make faith through, obviously brainwashing your subconscious mind in it into giving you the reality that you want in it. And so the only way that can really happen is through affirmations, is through auto-suggestion. That's what the whole chapter is kind of, centered around in it. And auto-suggestion just simply means suggestions that you give to yourself in it. And so affirmations are one of them. Affirmations are one type of suggestion you can give to yourself. You've got decrees, you've got mission statements, you got all these things that you can say and all these things that you can say to yourself and stuff like that. But some of my affirmations, and then you've got afformations as well, which are questions that you ask yourself as well, which is like Noah St. John as well. So if you ever read Noah St. John, check him out because he's got a different spin on affirmations because he basically come up with affirmations because affirmations didn't work for him because they didn't work for him because he was affirming things that weren't true in his reality, and he found out that the mind basically is always asking a question. So your mind is always asking questions. So if you can ask empowering questions to yourself instead of asking disempowering questions to yourself, then your mind goes to work and searches through the database of your subconscious mind to see if that reality is consistent with the question you're asking yourself in it. And then on top of affirmations, you can do the affirmations, which is kind of what Napoleon Hill's saying with Think and Grow Rich in it, which is affirming something to be true. And obviously, if you keep saying it and over with tenacity and belief, eventually it's going to become real in it. But some of my affirmations are just, why am I so successful? Why is life easy? Just the things that I say to myself, like the reverse. So it'd be like, why am I a failure? So I ask myself, why am I so successful? And just affirmations like that, really. Like why am I powerful? There's the affirmations. Affirmations would be, I suppose like now I am happy. I am now happy. I've got loads of them anyway. I don't really remember my affirmations. I remember more of my affirmations in it, but I don't really have a lot of affirmations. I kind of sway towards affirmations in it, but obviously the affirmation, the main one in Think and Grow Rich in Faith, is your self-confidence formula, and obviously that's the kind of affirmation that I kind of follow from Think and Grow Rich in it. But yeah, that's kind of it really. That's what I do. So yeah.
That's awesome, brother. I want to ask you a quick little question before we move on to Mr. Karen here.
Yeah, sure.
When it comes to those. See, I like that. Like, why am I so happy?
Yeah. Why am I so? And your brain will search for it, innit? So it's different than saying, I am now happy, because you're having to tell yourself something that isn't yet right. And you might be one of the lucky people that can build that kind of, power inside of them and say, I am now happy, and then eventually be happy, But a lot of people can't do that, do you know what I'm saying? So a lot of people actually can't use affirmations in the traditional sense. So affirmations are, why am I so happy? Why am I so rich? Why am I so loved? Why do people like me? Your brain is actually going to go and search for the reasons why that's true. So if you're in a process of trying to make people happy, or if you're in a process of enriching your life with happiness, and you say, why am I so happy? Or why do people love me? Then your brain's going to go, of course, this is why people love you. And then that brings that to your conscious mind. And then, bam, do you know what I'm saying? That's why I sway more towards affirmations than affirmations. Not that I can't use them, because, of course I can, but I'd recommend affirmations to people. They're not.
I like that idea, man. I've never thought about it like this until right now you started saying it, because, I'm like you, at one point in time I would be like, I am successful.
Yeah,
I am abundant. And what happens is, bam, your mind just literally just shuts it off. It's like, no,
you hear the voice in your head. You hear the voice in your head sometimes. It's like, no, you're not. Like,
yeah.
No, you're not. Yeah.
Now, I like the way the angle you're kind of bringing it from, which is,
my angle, my
angle. So happy. And then I'm like, well, I have my family.
Yeah, exactly.
I have my car. I have my own place. I have my girlfriend. I have whatever you have. And then what's going to happen is, I guess it's going to make you even happier, because you find the reality of why you're happy, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like you're building our Empower Network, innit? So your subconscious mind now is aware that you are a builder in Empower Network. You are a producer there. And so if you say to yourself, why am I such a good producer? And why do I always produce good content? And why am I always offering value to people? Then your subconscious mind is going to go, this is why you're a good producer. This is why you're always making good content. This is why you're always producing value, as opposed to saying, I am now producing good content. Or I'm not saying that doesn't work, but that's a more brute force. That's a more brute force thing. That's kind of a forcing yourself to do it. Like affirmations kind of works with the way that your mind naturally works. Your mind is constantly your mind just wants to solve questions in it. So it's constantly asking questions. Like that's what you're doing. That's the whole role of the subconscious mind. It's to ask questions and to fill in those answers. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So affirmations, it does help a lot. Put it to work, man. Test it out, bro.
That's awesome. Yeah, man. I'm definitely gonna look into that, dude. Thank you for sharing that. It's like we said last time in last Hangout, I was like, hey guys, the reason why we want to do this and kind of go over chapters is because I may understand the chapter in a certain angle, and then we have Karen, we have Carlos giving us another perspective of the way they see it.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I personally just had a breakthrough by the way Carlos explained it, something that I never thought about when I was reading the book. You know,
Yeah.
it's just the power of mastermind, the power of.
I'd get it, man. I'd get it, man. That book, obviously, I know that this is about mastermind and Think and Grow Rich now, and I don't want to kind of stray away from that, but I would say that the affirmations, like for me, I just see connections between everything, so I just kind of see the interconnectivity between everything. So if Napoleon Hill's talking about autosuggestion in this book, his autosuggestion fits perfectly in line with what Dr. Maltz said in Psycho-Cybernetics, what this Noah St. John is saying in this, you know, and what most people are saying. So I just kind of tie them together, weave them together, and I just build my own reality, you know, like from it. You know what I'm trying to say? But
Yeah.
yeah, the book.
Let's go ahead and pass it on to Mr. Karen.
Yeah, bro. Sorry, man.
Nah, it's cool, bro. I love the knowledge, man. Keep up the wisdom, man.
Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that's like kind of interlinking like with kind of other books and other kind of speakers and stuff like that. It does work because it's like that's how I kind of, you know, started to understand more of what he was kind of saying in the book from like reading other people's perspectives on it and kind of, you know, them kind of breaking it down in a different way for me to kind of understand it. Do you know what I mean? So it's like tying them both together kind of makes you understand it more. I wanted to go into two lines from the book that I come across first. And the first one, what I come across was repetition of affirmation of orders to your subconscious mind is the only known method of voluntary development of the emotion faith.
That's what Jose said, bro.
Oh, we said that already?
Yeah. It's nuts.
My bad. I didn't even realize I said it. Okay, then. Okay. Well, basically, he's explained in the book. Basically, to make a clearer understanding of what he's trying to say in that verse, he's put when men first come into contact with crime, it's just they abhor it. If they remain in contact with crime for a time, they become accustomed to it and endure it. If they remain in contact with it for long enough, they finally embrace it and become influenced by it. Now from that, it's like it goes back on like kind of like, you know, like probably past experiences for me. And it's like, you know, I've noticed like with certain things I used to do, it's kind of like, you know, you do, it's just like, you know, like when you get smokers, for instance, this is an example. You get like a smoker will probably smoke a cigarette or something, and he will probably not like it the first time he tastes it.
Yeah.
He'll do it again, and then he probably might not like it, but he's kind of just, you know, getting used to it. He's seeing people around him smoking and stuff like that. He does it, starts smoking. Now he starts smoking again, and then he starts to, you know, he starts to inhabit it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And then he starts to obviously become accustomed to it, and he starts doing it all the time. Yeah. And it's like that kind of works with how like the subconscious mind works. You know what I mean?
Of course, man, definitely. Yeah.
And it's kind of like, yeah, man, that's what I got to say about it. But yeah, man. But yeah, the subconscious mind is basically just attracting whatever you're telling it to.
Yeah.
Attract. Do you know what I mean?
Because it's a neutral thing, innit? Like the subconscious mind, it doesn't really have like a say, you know. That's why there are murderers, that their subconscious mind will help them to commit murders, like, you know, because your subconscious mind don't know the difference between kind of like bad or good or real or not imagined, like, or imagined, you know, like your subconscious mind is literally there to be programmed to help you, and you know, it's to help you with tasks like driving cars or help you with tasks like picking up cups and drinking them and stuff. You know, that's what your subconscious mind is there for, so you don't have to consciously think about every time you need to do something. It can just be habitual in it. And so yeah, man, like it's funny that you mentioned that, innit? Because like I just put an arrow and I said this is why personal development is vital. You know, like people think like personal development, is kind of just, you know, you do it and it's like a thing where, you know, you can just do it once or anything like that. But I see personal development as literally you have to be doing personal development. Like you have to be listening to content, you have to be reading books, you have to be, you know, doing your instructions that you're told to do in these things, in these books and stuff, because your mind literally, you become whatever you're around in it. Just like you said with the smokers and that, like eventually you're going to become that, like, you know, eventually you're going to become a criminal, even though you might have thoughts that aren't criminal in nature. Like I can remember back in the day, like getting into trouble with the police and stuff, and I wasn't a bad person, but I'd find myself, you know, getting locked up and sent to court and stuff like that, and that's because of the people that I was around in it. Like I was around people that were in that reality, and because I was in that reality, eventually it became my reality. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So yeah, that's what I gotta say with that as well.
Yeah, you me, man. You know, sovereignty and obviously the stuff that you're kind of intaking into your subconscious mind starts to then obviously develop and, you know, manifest in your life. You know what I mean? As well as what you do.
Yeah.
Partners, if you're talking about crime stuff, you go on chats, everything that kind of comes with it.
Yeah.
As well. So yeah, man, that's good.
No, I totally believe that, man, because it's all about the way that you're, like, it don't matter how sick you are, it don't matter how strong you think your mind is or anything like that. Yeah, I'm telling you, if you're put anywhere in any situation and left there long enough, you're gonna become that environment. Like if you're in a nightclub, yeah, and you're a, you know, devout Christian and that, and you're holy and that, and you cling to your Bible and that, and yet you're in the nightclub. Listen, eventually those girls wiggling around are gonna start to make you sin. Eventually that drink is gonna be in your mouth. Eventually, certainly you're gonna be dancing to all these quote unquote demonic songs and stuff like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you're gonna get affected by it. Like we aren't as powerful as we think. This is the hilarious thing. You know, I've talked to people, even family members. I said, yo, you shouldn't watch TV, you know, or you shouldn't watch too much of it. They're like, oh, nah, I'm all right, you know, because, man, like, I'm strong in the mind. Like, I can filter out what I want to see. And I'm thinking to myself, no, you can't. Like, you think you can, but you can't. And it's funny because, like,
messages. Do you know what I mean?
No, that's what I'm saying. Your subconscious, you can't overpower it. You can't. If you're in a reality for long enough, that's it. You're affected by it, like, hands down. Your subconscious mind will go to work to help you create that reality in your life, man. It's just how it goes, man. You know, simple as.
That's cool, guys. Yeah, dude, I really like the examples you guys gave us, and the thing that I want to add to that is that we have a choice, right? We have a choice of whether we're gonna go to the club, like, you know, and go drink and go smoke and go, you know, do dumb shit, or we have the choice of reading, of masterminding like this, you know, once a week, you know, like you said, going to church. It's like, what do you want your reality to be, right?
Of course,
Napoleon Hill said it clearly. He's like, you know what? Whether it's good or bad, your subconscious mind does not know how to determine, you know, one from the other. What's gonna give you is it's gonna give you what you feed it, right? And I totally agree with what you said, man, about, you know, telling family and friends about the news and stuff.
I don't understand it because they're possessed by it.
It's funny, man, and it's just the way they defend it. I'm like, whoa!
I know, it's crazy, isn't it? It's crazy, but that shows you, the level of brainwashing in it, the subconscious mind in it.
I have one of my friends at work. You know, his name is Aaron. He's a cool guy and all, but you know, he's always complaining and talking about, you know, man, you know, life and this and that, and then, you know, when I talk to him about this, he gets all excited. He's like, man, Jose, how do you know this stuff? You know, this is awesome. You know, thank you for sharing. And then I tell him, I was like, hey, dude, you need to stop watching the news. No, man, I'm stronger than that. No, the news doesn't influence me and shit. And I'm like, you know, I don't want to argue with you, man. I was like, that's cool. Do your thing then. You know, you have to be informed. And I'm like, all right, man, if that's what you think, then that's cool. But, you know, it's like the book here, you know, Napoleon Hill studied 500 millionaires. It's like the stuff that's in here, it's not fake. So if he says, hey, you can't, like you said, you can't control your subconscious or you can't control what goes into your subconscious mind. You can't. I mean, you can to a certain extent.
You can't if you're in the environment. Like, if you're sitting there in front of news all day long, you're not going to be able to influence your subconscious mind to do anything other than make you fearful and paranoid, innit? But if you know, get into books, and if you kind of, you know, if you're there in a place where you're not being brainwashed, where you're kind of determining, like, what you want to put into your mind, you know, whether that's a good comedy or something, or spending time with your spouse or something like that, instead of being brainwashed by something in it, then you know, you can begin to kind of control it. But there's other parts as well that talks about how minds mingle with each other as well. I think it's in Mastermind, like in the later chapters of this book, in it, and it talks about how we aren't just affected by our own subconscious mind, we're affected by other people's subconscious minds, and we're affected by thoughts that are dropping in from the ether. So if you are right now, say in Iraq or something like that, fighting a war or something like that now, and your whole team around you is all war driven and kind of that animalistic nature, yeah, you're affected by their subconscious mind. So all the thoughts that are in their subconscious mind are coming through the ether and jumping into your subconscious mind as well, and obviously all the thoughts that kind of go with that, and that's where law of attraction and stuff like that comes in, and that's why basically the more that you think a certain way, the more thoughts that come in that are conducive and congruent with the way that you're thinking in it. And so again, this is why I always put it back to personal development. Like I'll always do, like for me, personal development last year was just like a thing where it was like, oh yeah, personal development, I can do it alongside, but if I fail, like it's blessed. But now personal development is literally vital, and I don't just say that lightly in a way where I'm trying to get somewhere to be successful. I mean, just in terms of developing myself personally, just developing like a character, yeah, that is not consumed, like is not a consumer, who's actually a producer in life. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And I just recommend everyone right now just to read Think and Grow Rich, just to read books and just to plug into them properly, man. And not just use them as like shelf help, but to really get into them and really look at them properly, because that's what they're there for. Do you know? I got great respect for Napoleon Hill and some of the things that he does as well. Obviously, I don't agree with everything he says, but I agree with a lot of it as well. Do you know what I'm trying to say? There's some good stuff in Think and Grow Rich, man. Some good stuff.
That's awesome, brother. That's awesome.
Rant over.
Before we kind of stray away from like the whole chapter and stuff, what we was talking about with the chapter and stuff like that,
I don't
actual
bad,
book.
This is my bad.
It's not, obviously, you're putting your points across, which are great. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we just want to kind of just keep it congruent with the topic of the day, kind of thing. We can just kind of get back to some of the quotes and stuff out of the chapter, if that's cool with you guys.
Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
What I got next is, it says in a book, conduct yourself just as you would if you are already in possession of the material thing which you are demanding.
Yeah.
When you call upon your subconscious mind. So basically, he's trying to say, put yourself in a way like you're already in possession of the items. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I once watched the video from Bob Proctor, The Winner's Image. I'm sure I put a video a few times now. But yeah, he kind of goes over that in the video. Kind of, but there was a guy who kind of wanted to be a businessman, and he's kind of like, he wanted to be a millionaire through that business and stuff. So he started to like dress like a businessman. He kind of actually changed his name.
Yeah. What's his name? What was his name?
A different name and started different. What his name was.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. Like he switched up his whole thing, innit? Yeah.
Yeah, he switched up his whole mindset. Kind of, tried to believe that it was this different person, this guy who he's trying to, manifest into. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And kind of trying to transmute into this kind of different me. And that's what he kind of became, from kind of the power of his subconscious mind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's like forcing yourself in it.
Just it's like. Say that again, sorry.
Nah, that's the forcing yourself that you have to do in it. Like,
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. I'm saying that's what I'm
Yeah.
agreeing with what you're saying, innit? It's like that's the forcing yourself. You have to force yourself, like, to do certain things in it, because obviously you need to remain congruent with where you're going and stuff like that. In terms of, you need to see it, you need to be in that reality for it really to match your current reality in it as much as possible, But so what would you say about that? All right then, like, so all right, check it, yeah. Like I agree with that, innit? I agree with about congruency and all that, innit? But for me, it's like, if somebody is just down to their last pound, like down to their last dollar, Jose, yeah, and their wife has like just left them, their kids are being put into foster care, like everything's just messed up in their life, yeah, to the point where it's just really difficult for them to imagine themselves with their family again, with a nice house, with all these kind of stable things in life, and them traveling or doing all the things that they want to do kind of materially and spiritually and emotionally, Like, what kind of tips would you give to somebody that is in a place like that and actually needs to employ what you're saying, what Napoleon's saying in his book?
Are you talking to Karen or?
Yeah, Kieran, Kieran. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said Jose. Oh, okay.
Go back and forth, guys.
From what I would say to that is, I'd say you kind of need to, affirm to before obviously when you last book, yeah, you try and obviously possess you can't imagine yourself being that person. I suggest you kind of would need to kind of work on empowering your mind with think like motivational stuff that will kind of get into your subconscious mind, then and obviously give you that kind of motivation to become a better person, which then in turn will obviously give you more likely to kind of motivate to doing something out of your comfort zone. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah, bro, man, that's good advice, man, for people. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like, obviously, as I've read through this book, in it, I'm very familiar with like these passages in faith and that, because I've just like been through it a couple times now, and I just love. I actually like faith. Faith is one of the chapters that I do like in it, but it's just obviously some of the things like that are challenging as well for people, and that's why I asked you that question, because it's just like there are people out there that have hit rock bottom like that there are, do you know what I'm trying to say? And so it's not always highs for some people. So it's like, how would somebody imagine? But you kind of hit the nail on the head, like they need to work on themselves before they work on that level of themselves. And it is kind of like what I got from it. And I ain't got anything to add to that. I think that's good.
Yeah. Okay. You got more to add, Mr. Karen?
Yeah, 1 second. Basically, like, from my past experience, like, it's like even though I had money, like I was talking about this on the last hangout we had, like with Jose, when Jose was kind of bombarding us with his self-development stuff and was kind of like, wasn't really at that place. So it's like, it's all good saying to somebody, oh yeah, look, you need to kind of do this self-development stuff, but if you don't have the right mindset towards doing it, it's not gonna work in your favor. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously when we first entered like the online marketing industry, obviously our first thoughts was obviously trying to really in that place of working on yourself, on yourself.
It didn't mean nothing.
Like Jose was right to tell us that stuff. I just wasn't in that place. It took time for me to kind of develop and obviously understand why he said this stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't really make sense. Or it was more like stuff like that money going now. Do you know what I mean? You want it to run right now. But obviously that's not the case. You have to have the right mindset towards taking action towards wealth in your landing and implementing skills and tactics that are shown to you. Do you know what I mean? Because some people try to take all the skills and tactics, learn all the stuff, but they don't internalize it. It doesn't become their reality. Do you know what I mean? They don't start to implement the stuff. They just take it in, soak it in, and not do nothing with it. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of where I was at. Like I told you guys about the learning stage I had, where I was, well, not even learning stage. It was like it was a learning stage, but it was more like I was just learning everything. We're not doing anything. Do you know what I mean? And that's no use. Do you know what I mean? You can't just learn and not doing it. It's like the quote. Obviously, knowledge is power, but obviously, if you don't apply the knowledge,
that's what it is as well. That's what it says in Think and Grow Rich, a chapter specialized knowledge in it. It talks about basically applied knowledge is power. Like knowledge isn't power. Like just because you got an encyclopedia like on your bookshelf doesn't mean you know anything unless you pick it up and actually apply what you're reading in it. But one thing that I think is why Napoleon Hill did write the chapter on faith was because he knew, and I think he says it somewhere, like you guys can probably dig it out for a minute, but it's basically like, what he's saying that all the old gurus, and like not just gurus marketing, I mean like all the people in history, like the real gurus, spiritual gurus, have said people should have faith in it, but they haven't said how to develop faith. And obviously that's why Napoleon Hill dedicated a whole chapter to it in it, because he's showing us in this chapter, that one of the ways, I'd say one of them, he says it's the only, but I don't think that's what I'm saying, because affirmations work as well, and it's not just affirmations. There's there's a couple different ways that I've discovered in my journey so far that do help influence faith, and so I think one of the ways in it that influences faith in a powerful way is what he's saying, and obviously faith is the chapter where he actually goes on to explain the self-confidence formula in it, and the self-confidence formula is basically it's just reinforcing your definite chief aim, it's reinforcing your ability, it's giving you the confidence that you need, and as you're repeating this more and more and more every single day, faith is building up inside of you in it towards whatever your endeavor is in it, and that I think that's going to help a lot of people that are at that rock bottom place is to just not be rock bottom anymore. Like, don't stay rock bottom anymore. Like, do what Napoleon Hill's saying with faith. Like, do your definite chief aims every day. Do your self-confidence formula and do it with emotion. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Do it with like feeling and stuff like that, because that's how you're going to elevate yourself to get to what you were saying and to that level where you can actually begin to imagine yourself with certain things that you want, and then that's when you're going to start changing up and switching up your mindset. It's almost like it works level on level.
Yeah, guys. Something else I wanted to add. That we're talking about like taking action and kind of doing the things that we're reading and about knowledge. There's like a little section here. It says surely enough has been stated to give the starting point from which one may, through experience and practice, acquire the ability to mix faith with any other given to the subconscious mind. Perfection will come through practice. It cannot come through merely reading instructions.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I should probably like write that in like red and like highlight it, because that's right. And I've told you guys, I always tell people like, hey, when you read something, apply it. When you learn something, apply it, right? Because just how Carlos said it, or Karen, I don't remember who, is you can have all this knowledge and not do anything with it. And, like for, I think almost a year, maybe a little over a year, I read books. I read The Laws of Leadership by Maxwell and Maximum Achievement by Brian Tracy. I read a bunch of books. But did I ever apply anything that I read? No. And it was the biggest mistake I made, but at the same time, I'm grateful because I'm able to enforce that and tell people, hey, don't do that because you're just going to be wasting time. And you're not really wasting time, but as you learn it and as you apply it, you're going to start to see like things start to change. But if you just read it and you're like, oh yeah, I know this stuff, but then you go back to just doing the same thing that you've been doing, it's kind of like, so what? It's not applied. Right, so that's just one of the big things that we're talking about is just being able to apply what you guys learned, right? The affirmations or the little questions thing that Carlos gave us at the beginning of the Hangout, I really like that, And now it's like, what? Let me ask myself those questions. Why am I so successful?
Yeah.
And then your mind, like Carlos said, your mind is going to start looking for the answers. And the more you do that is like you're going to be building on top of those, and then we get into the right vibration and more good things are going to start coming into your life. So if I ask myself, why am I so successful in 6 months, it's going to be like, oh, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this.
That's what I'm saying too, yeah.
Just like we're building a big-ass building,
yeah.
We have to start from the bottom. We have to start from the foundation. And the foundation, of course, it's us. It's the inner work, the inner, the deep roots or whatever of our building. But we have to build on top of it from our little successes, from our little things. Even if, I was able to do something good for somebody. Feel good about that. Why am I so happy? Because I'm hanging out with these guys, right? I have Maritza. Oh, yeah, Maritza's watching us, guys, just to let you guys know. Hi, Maritza.
She's watching us, huh?
Yeah, we got one viewer, and she texted me. She's like, hey, tell Carlos that I agree with what he's saying and stuff. And I was like, wait, how did you get on the Hangout? I was like, I didn't send you the link, right? She's like, oh, computers love me. And I was like, you're so funny. I don't know if she's in school or at home or something like that, but yeah, she's watching us and stuff. But yeah, guys, like just ask yourself, why am I so happy? I get to hang out with these guys, right? I get to go outside. I'm a little sick right now, so I won't do that. But just ask yourself those questions and then just build upon those things, right? So that's what we got. Let's go ahead and maybe pick something else. Another last golden nugget where I think.
Kieran, blast it up, man.
Our time, but we want to keep it under 45 minutes or so.
You guys to shoot one of the quotes out of the book from now. You want me? Hold on, I'll find something.
Whatever you got, buddy. Something you've highlighted. Something that's powerful. Disaster of negative thinking. I think we already discussed that. We don't need no more negative stuff.
Okay, I've got the mind comes finally to take on the nature of the influences which dominate it. It's kind of touching on, like, on everything what we've been talking about, really. But basically, it's talking about obviously influencing your mind with the correct information that you want to kind of manifest in your life, which obviously will become your external reality. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, obviously you want to, obviously what's gonna kind of become your reality is your dominant thoughts. So if you have dominant thoughts of just negativity all of the time, then that's what's gonna happen in your life. So if you do have like negative thoughts, don't think that they can't be extinguished, because they can, obviously, but they can only be extinguished by pumping positivity over it, which is gonna fill them up and kind of eliminate them. Do you know what I mean? Kind of eliminate them, and then obviously you kind of be a positive person by kind of keep building, filling up your head with kind of positivity, fill it up, fill it up, fill it up, fill it up. But when you start to pump more, because this is the problem. Sometimes I like to rant on, but
we all do, don't we?
It's the problem that I have.
I'm learning, I'm listening, man.
I used to do like what Jose was saying. This is like before. Like I used to do what Jose was saying. Like to read, like even with you, Carlos, when we first started this business and stuff like that, you kind of showed me like the Bob Proctor videos and stuff like that. And you told me like obviously do it for like watch them for like 30 days and stuff like that. I couldn't even really manage that. I wasn't really in the right place. But what I used to do was I would listen to something like that, which would kind of start to empower my mind, and then I would probably go and watch something negative, which is like cancelling it out. Do you know what I'm trying to cancel it out? To the point where it's like there's no point. You might as well not did it in the first place. So
because at the same spot,
taking action of pumping positivity into your mind. Do you know what I mean? Which will then obviously in turn will then obviously help you manifest that kind of lifestyle that you want in your life, or pumping prosperity or whatever you want in your life by pumping the right stuff into your mind through your dominant thoughts. Do you know what I mean? So,
that's how it is, man. And one thing that I will go back to as well, obviously with Maritza watching as well, is actually wrote it in on the chapter of faith as well, and it says, that's why I put here, yeah, I put, you're not a product of what you think, but what you're in, aka your environment, innit? And so people like, you want me to say it again?
Sorry to cut in there, but I had this kind of thought about that. Like I ain't
elaborated yet, no.
Sorry.
No, because it's this year. You're not a product of what you think, innit? So you can think and think, yeah. But if you're in a bad environment, then it's like if you're in a good environment where everyone's love and like right now, is anyone having negative thoughts?
No.
Our negative thoughts, if we are having them, are going to be at like 10%. But say now if you put us in like an MMA ring or something like that, like our negative thoughts are going to go through the roof in it because of the environment that we're in it. So I'm not saying that our thoughts aren't important in it, because they are, because that's the building blocks to our reality in it. But I'm saying like you're not a product of your thoughts. You're basically a product of your environment. Like wherever your environment is, your mental environment that is as well, and your physical environment, because that adds to your mental environment. I did a video on this on Facebook in it, and that basically shapes your thoughts in it. And so it's like what you said, you'd listen to Bob Proctor, but then you change your mental environment to one that was bad, and then your thoughts would be bad again. So you just kind of nullified everything that you just did with Bob Proctor and all the good thoughts that were there. And so you're really not a product of your thoughts, because you had good thoughts at the time, but then you went to bad stuff, so you had bad thoughts. So that's what I kind of mean by not saying that thoughts are important, because they are, but mental environment is more important. Just in my opinion.
The reason why I said that was because it's like, okay, then it's like, you say that, yeah, but it's like, okay, then you put a person in the ghetto, yeah?
Yeah.
Like, it's like saying, okay, if they're a product of that environment, yeah, then it's like they can't overcome it. Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's like, okay, you put them in that environment, so what if they read all positive stuff? And obviously, I know what you mean about the whole, For instance,
They wouldn't be in the ghetto. They wouldn't be in the ghetto because you're speaking to someone who was in the ghetto. That's what I'm saying. Like, I used to be in the ghetto, yeah, and then I changed up my thoughts because my mental environment changed. So I'm not in the ghetto no more. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And obviously, I know that you've been through the same process in it. And so it's not saying that you can't change. It's just saying that you have to force yourself to change. And when you force yourself to change, your thoughts change in it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying no one can't change.
It kind of
when you
requires
say
a little bit.
environment, yeah. When you say environment, do you mean like the people you associate yourself with, or kind of like
yeah. The it's like this, isn't it? What I mean by environment is your physical location, but it's more of your mental location in it, because even in the ghetto you can still have positivity somewhat, but there's not going to be a lot of positivity in a ghetto surrounding, because most people are talking about drugs, violence, or girls, or some shit. They're not talking about good stuff, are they? So it doesn't matter how positive you are in your mental environment. Your mental environment is kind of negative. It's tainted in it. And so that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying that you can't be a good person in the ghetto or anything like that, or have good intentions, because I was there myself in it. But I'm saying that if you are in that place, you need to get out of that place quickly, because your thoughts in that place are making a reality for you in it. And it goes back to faith. Your subconscious mind is creating that reality for you. That's why the music, if you listen to the music that people listen to, people aren't listening to Justin Bieber in the ghetto. They're not listening to classical music. They're not listening to, they're listening to drive-by music, or they're listening to some Birmingham chat, you know what I'm saying? They're listening to some nonsense in it. And obviously that's contributing to their mental environment and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah, something I wanted to add is kind of like discipline, right? A little bit of discipline when it comes to your environment. Like
most people haven't had dads in the ghetto though, so they ain't got discipline.
Hey, but shit, that's their problem, right? We have to deal with it ourselves, right? Because I tell you guys this because I mean I don't really have anything for like the ghetto side thing that you're saying, right? But for me, it's kind of like just in general. Like sometimes, like when I'm at work or whatnot, like there's a couple of officers who are just like, man, like this and that and that, and I'm like, hey, stop. And they're like, huh? Let me tell you. I was like, stop. I was like, let me tell you. I was like, stop. Like, what? I'm like, dude, stop complaining. I don't need your negativity. I literally tell them straight up like this. And they're like, man, and then they just leave. I'm like, shit, leave, dude. And I remember one officer, he cool guy. But, he's like, Jose, you know what? Everything is not all positivity and roses like the way you see it. And I'm just like, yeah, it is. I go back to listening to my classical music or my audios or whatever. And he just goes out, he leaves. Because I don't allow him to dump all of his shit on my mind when I'm listening to audios, when I'm listening to Inner Circle audios. I'm literally like, hopefully nobody at work
changing your mental environment. That's what I'm talking about. That you're changing your mental environment, innit? So your thoughts are naturally going to change. It's an effortless thing.
Like, we have like the radio and everything, and we have a little earpiece. I never have that earpiece plugged into my radio. I always have it plugged into my phone or my little my tape recorder where I record books, where I record videos that I want to watch, and I'm always listening to that stuff. So I'm all like, yeah, you can do it. Everything's possible. Listening to Napoleon Hill, and then here comes somebody else. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, you need to stop and get away from me, right? Because I'm again, what am I gonna choose? Oh yeah, let me turn this off and let me listen to you. So you feed me all of your crap. That's not gonna help me. No, I'm like, hey, you need to stop because I don't want. Again, are you gonna go to church or are you gonna go smoke? Which one are you gonna do? So it's kind of like that. So it's kind of like, no, dude, I don't want that. So you plug into what you want to plug into, right? So I don't know. That's something that I wanted to share with you guys. So you guys have that decision, have that choice. Don't be scared to tell people, hey, stop.
Yeah.
Use your big boy voice. Use your big girl voice, and just look at them in the eyes and be like, hey, stop. And they'll be like, what? Like, you need to stop complaining. You need to stop that. I don't want to hear all your negative crap. And
there's a balance to it though as well, There's a balance. You can't be oblivious to things, innit? Because if you're oblivious to things, innit, you're only going to be controlled by them in a certain fashion, innit? So I wouldn't say that everyone should just throw away kind of, a consciousness towards things, because you do need to have kind of like, negativity's there and it's real in it, but it doesn't need to be your ultimate reality. Just know, like for me, it's like have your goals in mind, innit? And have where you want to go and keep it positive and remember who you are, what you're trying to become, but also remember that there is sickness, there is disease, there is things like that in the world. I mean, it's like if you get gangrene on your leg, you know, someone's got gangrene on their leg and then they come into work and like, Jose, look at this, and I don't want to see it, man. I'm doing my personal development. You know,
you have to be able to
balance. It's balance.
I like that. I like the balance portion that you're
but
saying.
I have the balance.
I'm not gonna be an ass to people, you know, when they're sick or when you know.
Yeah.
You know, there's a big gap, right, Carlos? Come on, there's a big gap there.
No, I'm just saying it for people who are listening as well. It's not just you in it. It's people who are listening as well in it.
Yeah, Maritza here. She needs to jump on the Hangout next time. All right, Maritza, you got it.
I've got one more kind of poem out of the book that I wanted to share with you guys. I thought it was powerful.
The man who thinks he can.
Say that again.
The man who thinks he can.
Yeah, it's powerful. You know what? Okay, it goes. If you think you are beaten, you are.
Yeah.
If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it is almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out of the world we find success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in a state of mind. If you think you are outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but sooner or later, the man who wins is the man who thinks he can.
It's all about think and grow rich, bro. You know.
Rich man, think and
grow rich. Think and grow rich, innit?
You don't think you're not gonna grow rich. I tell you.
Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. Yeah, you're right.
That's awesome. Thank you, Karen, for sharing that, man. That's a powerful thing. And yeah, guys, we have to believe that we can, right? That's the biggest thing. Even if you doubt yourself, just keep doing what this book tells you to do, right?
Yeah.
All of these golden nuggets, we're literally getting them from the book, you know, and we're doing our best to explain them in our way, to apply them in our life, because at the end of the day, if we believe we can do it, we're going to make it happen, you know?
Yeah, of course.
We're never talking about traffic. We're never talking about marketing. We're never talking about none of that, because 90%, I think it's over 90% of your success is going to come from within. So that's what
you're right.
We decided to focus on a book. And, you know, I'm sure after this book, we're going to pick up another good book. And we're just going to keep this, you know, do this for years and years, every Wednesday. You know, we may change the date here and there. But
to be honest, Jay, you see this book, sorry, Jose, this book, is it's not like a normal book, you know. Like I hear a lot of people. I've even heard Ty Lopez says that he's read it and that, and I think to myself, like, you know, like you read it in a day and that. You can't read Think and Grow Rich in a day. Like for one, it even tells you that you can't read more than a chapter every day. So you're only allowed to read a chapter every single day. So you can't read it in a day anyway. And plus, you're supposed to read it a minimum of 3 times. So Think and Grow Rich isn't a book that you can just read in one sitting. It's a book that you go over and over. That's why Bob Proctor still reads it today, because it's how powerful it is.
Like 50 years or whatever. Yeah, he says
it's that book. It's that book. You know, like you don't need any other personal development book really.
Yeah, we'll probably after we're done, we'll probably just go back and reread it and be like, hey guys, what are we understanding now?
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, for me, I read each chapter like 7 times, right? I go back and I read it a couple of times, you know, maybe a couple of times a day or like once a day, but 7 times. Why? Because I want to understand it, right? There's no point, there's no race. We're not here on a race. We're not on a race to success. Our success is a journey.
It's yourself, man. It's you.
Right, and then that's the beautiful thing, is that we're all here to do it together as a team, as a community. But we're gonna do it, you know, at our own pace. We're gonna take our time. We're gonna get there. We're not gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna have $1 million ring in 6 months. There's no race to it. You know, it's just we gotta take our time and really, really understand this, because this is how we're gonna get all that, right? Not just by running around and doing stuff. Okay. So I think that
Kieran was gonna say something in it.
Oh, sorry, brother.
Hold on, one second. Someone's phoning me. Let me just put it on silent.
Man.
Just touching back on what you just saying, man. It's like you can't, you know, it's not one of them books that you can comprehend straight away. Do you know what I mean? It takes a while to really understand it and comprehend the book of all the kind of, you know, the concepts and stuff he talks about in the book. You can't. It's like, even when I listen to the audio first, and it's like when I'm reading a book, it's like I don't even remember certain things that I've listened to. Do you know what I mean? Just because of that's how kind of confusing it can come. You have to keep reading it to really understand it and break it down and dissect it like what we're doing now.
Yeah,
like you
that's
said
true.
earlier, Jose, like Carlos kind of had a different point of view on the affirmation stuff. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
different perspective, and it's like you may not have looked at it like that. I may not have looked at it like that. Somebody else may not have looked at it like that. So it's like we all kind of comprehend it in a different kind of way. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's good to have these kind of hangouts where we can really, you know, dissect the book and really get into our thoughts on it, in maybe similar to somebody else's thoughts on it. So yeah.
But don't forget, like Napoleon Hill wrote this in I think it was 1900s. You know, like, he wrote this in the 1900s, and so obviously we've evolved in our minds mentally in it. So this book, it's not that the principles aren't there, but certain things that obviously build up the principles. I know they're gonna shift a little bit in it, and I know for a fact that affirmations are one of the most powerfulest things that you can do with personal development. Even if you did affirmations all day, you know, kind of like all your negative thoughts, if you just did the reverse of them and asked the question, you know, and you did that, like, you know, all day and listened to them at least 1-2 hours a day, anyway, all I'm going to say, yeah, is your mind will instantly change. When you do your affirmations, yeah, you'll literally put them on, you'll listen to them, and then your mind will literally instantly change. Like, your mental environment will change instantly, I promise you. That's how powerful they are. I paid $100 for it, man, because I had to get it. I had to get the affirmations that Noah St. John thingy, because they're just really powerful, man. They're very powerful, you know. And so, yeah, definitely get with it. And your self-confidence formula at the book, because your self-confidence formula, man, I've shouted it sometimes, you know. I shouted it, man. And just had that, you know, I shouted it, man. And that's what makes me keep going back to it, is the fact that I put so much energy in it. I'm like, you know what, this is happening. I'm gonna make this real. It's you know what I'm saying? And so it's just it's good. You know, it's good. So just keep being students, you know. Stay focused with it, keep being students.
All right, guys. I think we're done. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up, guys. Thank you guys very, very much for joining us today. We'll see you guys next week, next Wednesday, 9 o'clock California time, 5 o'clock UK time, I think. Yeah. All right, guys. And of course, you know, we'll have the recordings and stuff, so we'll definitely, you guys will always be able to go back to these hangouts and stuff. But yeah, next week we'll be discussing the next chapter. We're gonna go ahead and read it from now until then. And like I said, thank you guys very much. If you guys have any last words, go ahead and jump on for a little bit, and let's wrap it up.
I just wanted to say, guys, man, obviously you guys, you Jose, and you Carlos definitely know what I'm going to say, probably. Well, you should anyway. It's the powerful quote that we always use from the book, which goes, you know, whatever the mind of man/woman can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. So yeah, man, internalize that. Well, yeah, that's all about.
That's crazy still. Yeah, man, I appreciate that, Kieran, man. Appreciate that, man.
Any last words, Mr. Carlos?
All I just say is literally, guys, you know, it's always cool to hang out with you, and it's even cooler to hang out and talk about Think and Grow Rich, because this book, you know, it's been with me for a while now, you know, for my journey, and I've walked with it, and like I say, there's certain things that I don't understand, yeah, in my kind of wisdom, in it, but I would never nullify anything the book is saying. Like, hands down, like this book, yeah, if you just apply it in it and just go through it and just read it, like, it will just change your mind in it, and it will help you to get to that level of success that you want to be, because it's not just opportunities and systems, like you mentioned earlier. Like, it's not just about like Empower Network or Business Success Alliance or any other business for that matter. Like, people go crazy like this opportunity or that. It's not about that. It's literally about creating success from the inside out in it, because then you'll always be able to go out there and create an opportunity for yourself. You'll always be able to go out there and leverage a system or an opportunity, but you can only do that if you obviously work on your mind in it. So it's like what Kieran just said as well. You know, you just have to, you know what I'm trying to say? And that's all I was saying before I rant on, you know.
Good luck, guys. Yeah, guys, that's all we have. Thank you guys so much. You know, I love hanging out with you guys. I love you guys. Maritza, you need to start jumping on these hangouts as well. You know, we always like to hear her point of view, guys. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys next week, and have an awesome day, and see you guys later.
Yo, peace. See
you guys later.
Safe.